From a galaxy far, far away and straight to your ear holes, this is Going Rogue. I'm Andrew Dimalanta. I can fix the intro.
And I'm Nicki Dimalanta.
So, we for this this show, I think you actually again came up with this topic.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, in a roundabout way, and it's Star Wars Would You Rathers. Like,
yeah.
What would you rather?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's fun.
I think it's fun, and I think that it holds potential that you could do it a bunch of times because there's a lot of different what ifs or would you rathers that happen in Star Wars. So I think there's a whole wealth of questions and conversations it could spawn.
Yeah. So I think we both came up with like one.
We came up with a couple.
We came up with like a serious one and a couple of fun ones here and there. Let's get started with your serious topic.
Okay.
So
the one that I said was, who would you rather? Would you rather have as your Jedi Master Luke or Leia?
I love this question. I love this question. Who would you rather?
You know, I feel like it's harder for me to answer because I feel like you know more about Leia and her Jedi-ness probably from books and stuff.
Yeah. Well, based off of what you know, what you've seen from the
I mean, based off of what I know, I'm going to pick Luke.
Yeah.
Because I got to see like this much of Leia training Rey and Rise.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, who wouldn't want him as your
exactly.
Jedi Master?
Who wouldn't want Luke Skywalker as their master? But that's not to say that Leia doesn't have a lot of cool stuff to offer too, and maybe stuff that I'm just not aware of because I don't read books. I don't know, extended stuff. So I would be more interested to see what you have to say.
I love this question because there are other things in the canon novels that I've read, and we said it on one of the shows. I think it was a show with Joseph that we brought up the short story from a certain point of view that Yoda thought Leia was the chosen one.
Yes, which shows that she must have more potential that I'm just not aware of.
Oh God, and then also looking from the story from your perspective, we saw that Rey gets both of them as her master.
True.
From she has less training under Luke. She has more training under Leia than she did Luke, because Luke only taught her 3 lessons.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, she goes off to fight and he dies.
He didn't want to teach her for like half the time anyway.
Yeah, yeah, true. But then Leia takes over her training and does a pretty good job. Oh God, this is such a because who wouldn't want Jedi Master Luke Skywalker?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I thought it was kind of a lame question because I'm like, duh, Luke.
Based off of everything I know about the characters, I would say
I feel like Leia might be less jaded by her past. I don't feel like she has quite the sordid past as Luke.
like baggage.
Yes, baggage is a great word. I feel like Leia might have less baggage. She might have a more positive outlook.
Yeah, but also on that note, do we take Luke Skywalker as after he learns that failure is a great lesson to pass
which
on?
Luke are we talking about? Are we talking about Return of the Jedi Luke? Or
let's just take it as everything we know about the characters. Oh my God, that makes it even harder because I would say, oh God, my initial reaction was Leia.
I could see that.
It was Leia because
I remember how excited you were when when Rey called Leia Master in Rise.
I love that line. It's such a fleeting, small little thing in the Rise of Skywalker, and it's like, oh my God, it said so much. Like she's training Rey in the ways of the Force, and she knows enough to have an apprentice. Cool. I'm still saying Leia. People might be like, oh great, wait, you went Leia? It's like she says not only does you can draw off of her experience with the Force and what Luke's taught her, but her military, political, her upbringing is far more like structured. And because from the time we meet Luke in A New Hope, he's all he's known is farm life.
Yeah.
And just looking to the stars, like I'm wishing Leia's been out there fighting the fight.
Yeah.
Raised by royalty, a senator and a queen and his mother. She what is it? Queen Shadow, not Queen Shadow, Princess of Alderaan. That book. It's a young reader novel that follows Leia through of going through these trials to be it's tradition on Alderaan to go through these trials to prove your worth as a princess.
Ooh.
And she goes through a lot, and you see she's trained in like all these different forms, and like just I think everything that the character goes through from when we see her in Revenge of the Sith to when we get to introduced to her in A New Hope, all that I've experienced and read in their novels, it's like, yeah, I want all that experience passed on to me.
Yeah.
So
as someone who's only seen the movies,
it's like,
I would never know that stuff. I know that, like, 5 minutes we saw in Rise of Skywalker. So that's why my gut is Luke. But the way you just presented it, it's like, wow, yeah, actually.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah. Because, like, Luke, yeah, he has a training from Yoda and Obi-Wan and all those lineage. But, like, I think the real life experience of Princess Leia would help translate a lot of what it means to be a leader, mentor, with all this wisdom she's gained. Yeah, because... And
also, Leia did train with Luke, so she probably picked some stuff off from him, too.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and also everything that she went through post Return of the Jedi with Bloodline. You've probably heard me talk about that book.
I've heard of Bloodline, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just how the galaxy turns her back on her, and that's a lesson she learns that she can, and like she goes throughout that book, she's like, stand up for what's right, because she knows the threat is coming. But everybody's like, no, that's not what we need to focus on. We need to focus, and it's the politics in that. It's so great, and I think that's like everything that she's learned. I think over in the movies and the books, I think would make her a fantastic Jedi Master. So
that's a good point.
It's a hard choice to go against Luke Skywalker. It's like, as a Star Wars fan, it's like that kind of, it's like, why are you doing that to me?
It feels wrong.
It feels wrong, but I'm saying I would rather have Leia Organa as my Jedi Master.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And people are probably just like, what?
No, I get it. You make a compelling argument. I just don't know any of it other than what you just said. So
yeah. So let's move on to I'm going to do my funny one.
Okay.
A less serious one, we should say. So we have a daughter.
We do.
We have a daughter, and dating is going to come up eventually. It's hard to, no matter like who
hard for it not to.
It's hard not to. So who would you rather our daughter go on a date with, or multiple dates? Han Solo or Lando Calrissian?
It's a good question.
So,
because my initial reaction is not Lando, because he just seems so smooth and just trying to get into your pants and stuff. But then I think about it and I'm like, no, pretty sure Han is too. He just has a different approach.
Yeah.
So
they're almost the same person. They just they have roundabout ways of doing things. Lando's a little bit more sly and cunning, and Han Solo's a little bit more like...
They're both scoundrelly.
They're both like not like the best. They're both the bad boys that you don't want them want to be brought home to the parents. It's like you don't want. It's like they're the bad boys. You want them to marry Luke Skywalker and the characters like that.
I feel like from a parental standpoint, I might say Lando. Because Han Solo comes from a background that would make me like, ooh, maybe you're not running in the circles that I want my daughter to be running in,
it's like gangsters and...
Yeah.
But Lando does too. He's dealt with Dryden Voss and Aurra Singh and bounty hunters, gangsters. He's just so much more like, you know what I mean? He has a little bit more flash and style to it. Like he like...
He just seems like he has a better front when he's like, oh wow, look at Cloud City. So nice,
Who, like, because I have my answer.
I feel like I would probably say Han because of that one dinner with Boba Fett and Vader. If I knew about that, I'd be like, I'm not gonna trust that guy anymore. But Han seems like a pretty stand-up guy, and he seems true to his word. He doesn't mess around. He says what he means and means what he says, and he seems very loyal. Not that Lando's not, but that's a pretty big infraction that he had.
Yeah, the
betrayal of his friend.
Yeah,
and
oh man, that kind of swayed me a bit.
Yeah, so. I feel like I might pick Han because I feel like although he might be he is rough around the edges, or was R.I.P. I feel like he might be more of a stand-up guy, and if all you got is your word,
heart of gold,
So coming from that kind of standpoint of like, can I trust this guy to shoot straight with me? Yes, I can.
A great point. Because I said Lando. I was saying Lando because yeah, Han, he's a bit more of that, like, if you're looking at it from, like, a father's point of view, and like looking at him, like, Han lives from paycheck to paycheck. He's like, he's like that
That's
guy.
true.
He's like a pizza delivery guy type. It's like, you're still delivering. You know what I mean? And Lando, he's an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. He runs Cloud City. He's all about, getting he's big picture, like, you know what I mean? Han's the next moment. I think Lando's more of the look the big picture out. Like, he plays people, obviously, but
Stability. He's more
a little
about
more,
stability.
yeah, a little
more than
more stable, just based on what we see in, like, the movies and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
Han is more like job to job,
Yeah.
which it works for some people, but not for everybody. It wouldn't work for me. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I could never live my life like that, and
Yeah.
lucky enough to not have to. But if I'm thinking just overall happiness, and they're saying money can't buy happiness and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
I think I'd rather have a guy that I could trust for me
Yeah.
or my daughter. So I think
It's like,
I would probably pick Han.
I would say, I would say Lando, just because, and like, how do you, it's like Billy D. Williams and like, and well, also you also got to factor in Alden Ehrenreich and Donald Glover. Just like, come on, man. It's like Billy D. in Rise of Skywalker. It's like, he's still got it, man. He's so smooth.
I guess.
He can easily sway us. If, like, like Lando.
See, that's the thing. He's a sweet talker, and you can't trust a sweet talker.
That's true too.
And that would make me nervous.
Yeah.
I don't want someone who's gonna sweet talk me and try to swindle and bamboozle me.
That's true too. Yeah.
So, as a mother, between the two of these scoundrels, I'd probably pick Han.
Yeah. But, like, because, like, the difference between the two characters, I feel, is also, like, just look at their Falcon, the Millennium Falcon, in both of their possessions.
Yeah.
When we see it in Solo Star Wars Story, with under Lando, it's sleek, it's brand new,
Yeah.
it's clean.
It's got upgrades.
Yeah, it's got upgrades. Not that to say that Han didn't upgrade the Falcon, but he upgraded in different ways. But look at Han's Falcon. It's beat down. It's dirty. It's like, it hardly works half the time.
But it always does.
But it always does when it counts. But, like, you know what I mean? The Falcon between the two, Han and Lando, like,
It's like judge a man by the way he takes care of his car.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Oops, sorry.
Oh boy, somebody's popular.
Sorry.
That was
Forgot to
my
turn
phone, but
off.
nope, no one calls me but my mom.
Cantina song is playing. They're mostly spam calls. But
Yeah, he gets a crazy
but yeah,
amount of
that's a
spam
great
calls.
point, Jojo Man, on how he takes care of his ride.
That is, I've heard that before as a thing. If you're
Yeah.
gonna judge a man by a possession, judge him by his car.
Yeah.
So
Lando takes care of his stuff.
he does.
Who's to say he wouldn't take care of our baby girl?
True, but that's all materialistic things.
Yeah, I mean, it's and that's what makes this such a fun would you rather.
So it should be interesting in many years from now when our daughter brings somebody home,
Look at his car. Look at his car, baby. Look at his car. It's run down.
and I go, "No, is he swindling you, or are you playing sabacc with this person, and they just want to bamboozle you?"
That was another fun. I think I thought we were discussing this earlier. Like, would you rather play sabacc with Lando Calrissian or Dijarik with who was it say Chewbacca?
Yeah, I think I said I would rather play sabacc with Lando because if you somehow win against Chewy,
He's gonna rip your
say
arms
goodbye to your arms. So
off. That's true too. And would you would you actually win a card game of sabacc against Lando?
no,
Because he's gonna
But
cheat.
the other thing, well, that too. He cheats. I don't want him dating my daughter. That's a great point. No, but the other thing that makes me kind of like ooh about playing sabacc with Lando is that he's a betting man.
Yeah.
And he plays big bets, and
Yeah.
I am not a gambling person. I don't like to gamble. I don't like to bet things because of the possibility of losing it,
Yeah.
and then I just foolishly lost something.
I feel like I would rather play sabacc, just because I feel like I'll be better at sabacc.
Well, I don't know how either game works.
Well, Dijarik
so-
is more like chess.
I
and
played a lot of chess growing up.
I'm
but
decent at chess. I'm not the best at it, and I haven't played it.
I haven't played it
forever.
in years.
Yeah,
but I have
would be
no
really-
idea how sabacc works.
I think I'd be better at sabacc.
If sabacc is like Texas Hold'em,
It's a lot like poker. It's
Hmm.
with variations. I have the freaking game. We should try to play it somehow. Maybe play it on a video. I don't know. Or I don't know. How would you play that digitally with people, like over Zoom?
I don't know that you could. Sorry, sleepy girl.
Sleepy. Apparently.
No, I don't know that you could do it virtually unless you find, an online version of it. But if we had the actual physical
Like
cards.
show them the.
Yeah.
That's like, I know what your cards are. Eyes on your own cards, buddy.
Might be kind of hard.
All of them.
Oh, yeah. That guy.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to my more serious topic of would you rather. Would you rather have somebody else had directed the prequels or have George Lucas oversee the story of the sequel trilogy?
Okay, so my question here. Don't we agree that George Lucas is a fantastic storyteller,
Yes.
not good director?
He's not the best of directors.
So,
I mean,
with that in mind, I wonder if I'm jumping the gun too quickly here, not giving it enough thought. But I would say, I'd rather have George Lucas oversee the sequels. Because then there might be a bit more continuity. Even if you did have two different directors, the way it panned out. Even if you did have, JJ, what's his face, Ryan, JJ, at least you would still have that constant of George being like, well, actually, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense because of what just happened in episode 7. Well, wait a minute, but in episode 8 they did this. So I feel like if he was overseeing it but not directing, because I mean,
sort of like an executive producer type of role.
Like he's not. The prequels were kind of messy at times, and everybody can agree on that.
Yeah.
And I think that you and I agree that it seems like a lot of people were scared to tell George Lucas no.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, well, I want to do this, so we're doing it because nobody wants to cross me. So I feel like if he wasn't in that director role, but he was in an overseer role, and he had somebody like J.J. Abrams who, if George was trying to do something wonky and crazy, Georgie going, prequel crazy, I think if he had somebody like a J.J. Abrams to reel him back in and be like, but wait a minute, this is what's practical. I feel like George would be good for the overall the idea.
Like a fight, like a Kevin Feige type of role. I think that's kind of like.
I mean, it's nothing to me. Probably.
Kevin Feige oversees Marvel, the MCU.
But if he was there for more conceptual stuff, and the director was there for more like practicality, and okay, well, this is what we have the means for, and this is what we can do. I feel like if he was able to work with a director in that role, I feel like it would have been nicer to have a constant over the sequels rather than.
You get your movie, yeah.
Yeah, but rather than having somebody else do the prequels, I would love to have seen what would happen if somebody else did the prequels.
Prequels, yeah.
But that's the thing. Are we talking somebody else doing the prequels back in the 90s and the early 2000s? Or are we talking about somebody doing it now? Because the effects would be 100% different now.
I think just back then.
Back then, a different person. I would still say George over the sequels because it would still be, rolling dice with the prequels. You might get a crock of poop, if you got somebody who didn't really understand the project. So I think knowing what you would get with George, I think I'd put him overseeing the sequels because you'd be rolling the dice with the prequels. They might turn out worse if you had somebody else doing it.
You just blew my mind on this.
Really?
Yeah, because I thought you were going to go prequels.
Oh.
Because that's the way I'm going. I would want to see somebody else's vision for the prequels. But again, Lucas would still have that overseeing because again, like the overarching story arcs of the prequels is some of the best storytelling. Like the whole fact of this one guy plays everybody.
Yeah.
And just it's a fact that a lot of people when they watch the prequels, they overlook that aspect. It's like it's somebody who's constantly like playing the long game.
Yeah.
Pulling every single string, no matter how small it seems.
Yeah.
It affects the outcome of where the galaxy ends up.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that from maybe I'm trying to think of directors of that time. Like it's hard to think of them right now, but like maybe it's like get Steven Spielberg to direct it. Can you imagine Steven Spielberg directing the
James Cameron?
Yeah, like people of that caliber, the directors that are in the George Lucas circle, his friend circle. Imagine picking one of those people, and it's like, all right, you get to direct the prequels.
Could have been fun.
That would have been very interesting to see because I've always wanted because like George is not the best at writing dialogue, especially in the prequels.
Yeah,
and there's certain decisions that are made that are like.
Does that mean that we would have gotten different casting? Probably.
we would have gotten different casting. We would have gotten because and this is a conversation I think we'll have next week. Is something like that for recap. Like I don't want to spoil the topic, but like I would want to see maybe somebody else be recast as Anakin Skywalker. Maybe they make the decision to make Anakin older in the Phantom Menace, because that 9-year-old Anakin Skywalker doesn't sit well with me sometimes. It's like, just make him 13, then I can buy him being a pilot, and you know, it's like, oh yeah, I've been a pilot all my life. It's like all 9 years of it. So you were piloting stuff at 5 years old, because that's like really when you have the you know what I mean. Just being a parent, we know how, like, you know, their motor skills, how much they have.
And we used to work in childcare, and we thinking of the kids that were 9 years old.
It's like, really, you built that pod racer?
I mean,
really?
Granted, it's a space opera.
Yeah,
lots of unbelievable stuff happens in it, but it is kind of like 9.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so because I would love to see. There's just small little things like Jar Jar be as bumbling as he would have been, and like a lot of different things that people have problems with. Like, because I would like to say Hayden Christensen is still Anakin Skywalker. I would love to see him under a different director.
Same with Natalie Portman, because we all know that she is she's a much better actress than what we got.
Oscar-winning actress.
Exactly. She's a million times better than what we got out of her in the prequels.
And she was phoning it in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
It's hard. She's half the time she's just sitting there.
You can tell that funeral procession scene. She was just like, hell yeah, give me my paycheck. I'm not gonna lie here.
And can you imagine? Because everybody always says Ewan McGregor is probably the best thing of the prequels.
Yeah.
I would also put in an argument that Ian McDermott is just as good in that. Did I say the right name? No.
No.
Palpatine.
Yes, that's who you said.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Ian McDermott.
Wait.
Ian McDermott.
Hold on. I must have misheard you. I thought you said Obi-Wan.
No.
You said Palpatine?
No, I said
Oh.
No, because I said wow. Don't do that.
I
don't do that.
I would have bet money that you said Obi-Wan.
No, because like
I thought you said Ewan McGregor was the best part of the movies.
I would also argue that Ewan McDermott is just as equally good in those films.
I wasn't. I must have blacked out for a second.
Don't do that.
I must have blacked out for a second because I was like, Ian McDermott.
No, but can you imagine those two actors under somebody else's direction?
Ewan McGregor and Ian McDermott. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because even as it stood, they were fantastic.
They were fantastic.
So,
they would just like, because I think everybody else would rise to meet their performances. So I would like to see somebody else had maybe directed the prequels at the very least.
Don't get me wrong, I would too.
Yeah. But I think a lot of this, why I would want this, because I actually enjoyed the storyline of the sequel trilogy. Yeah, are there some twists and turns and like left turns
that I
here and
wouldn't
there?
have taken if it were me, but yeah.
But I'm on record saying like the sequel trilogy isn't about the Skywalkers. It's about Rey. It's Rey's story, and also Ben Solo's in there as well. But it's mostly about Rey and her rise in like her coming from nothing to being someone that she wanted to be her whole life.
Yeah. My whole life.
Yes. So let's move on to another less serious one. I think.
Would you rather be stuck in a room for 24 hours, or it doesn't matter what length of time, 24, 48, 72 hours? Would you rather be stuck in a room with C-3PO or Jar Jar?
Oh, God. And you can't turn C-3PO off.
And you cannot turn C-3PO off.
Oh my God, this is a tough one. Because Jar Jar, they're both annoying in their own ways.
Yes. And to no fault of the actors.
Yeah, just we're talking about the characters themselves.
The character themselves.
Because our three people would not stop talking.
Yeah, he likes to nag too. So
Jar Jar is annoying in the way that he wouldn't, like, you would tell him to not do something, like freaking,
don't touch that, and then
he goes and touches it. Yeah. He's more like a childish, annoying, because we both worked in childcare. The second you immediately tell a child not to do something, they do it. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing you're dealing with Jar Jar. So 3PO, I think he would just talk. I think I would tune out 3PO like maybe an hour in.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is a tough decision.
I feel like Jar Jar, you might be able to be like, shut up, and he might listen easier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like with Jar Jar, you might be able to play games with him. You know what I mean? Like play soccer, and you'd win it because he's just such a bumbling idiot and clumsy. Or but with 3PO, he doesn't get sarcasm. He doesn't get, no.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Because you could have but also with 3PO, you could probably like, hey, tell me this about the history of something, and just listen to him.
He's a really good storyteller.
Yeah, even though he says he's not a good
storyteller.
story.
He says he's not. But
that's something that always tickled me. It's like, I'm not a great storyteller, but then the Return of the Jedi tells the entire tale of the original trilogy
with like fantastic sound effects and all.
He's like an audiobook.
Yeah. Ooh.
So
okay, maybe C-3PO.
So maybe 3PO, just because I think that would be he'd be annoying with like he's like, all right, stop talking, and
I might be like, hey 3PO, teach me how to Dougie. No, it's C-3. It was what I was going for there. It just kind of fell out of my brain. I was gonna say teach me another language, like hey, teach me, Ewokese, teach me Shriwoks.
But then he would be like, oh, this and this. Like, no, go back to that. It's like, no way, I already told you that. And he would, you know what I mean? He wouldn't get like
maybe
that you
could learn a lot with C-3PO.
You could, and he gets annoyed real easily too.
Yeah.
I feel like with Jar Jar, like there's pluses to both of them.
Yeah.
Jar Jar, you can turn things into a fun game. 3PO, you can actually learn something.
Yeah. I feel like I would just ask C-3PO to either like tell me stories or, hey man, it's time to sleep. Play me some ASMR.
It would, because it would get tiring to talk to 3PO, but at least he's coherent and he you can have a legitimate conversation with him. I feel if Jar Jar was like Misa, it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I feel like you could have a more meaningful conversation with 3PO, an actual intellectual like back and forth. And plus, if you just want to chill, like just tell me a story about the Wookiees. Tell me a story.
Add sound effects to it.
Add the sound effects. Tell me a bedtime story about Luke Skywalker. So I think I'd pick C-3PO.
I would pick
Sorry
C-3PO
to Jar Jar.
Sorry, Jar Jar. You're just because like I can't remember. I think it was the Aftermath. Like I think I might have told you about this. Like there's this like prologue, or it's a side story that gets lumped in there, and it's a story about like Jar Jar becomes this bumbling idiot.
Becomes?
Not becomes. He's sent back to Naboo because everybody blames him for the Clone Wars and the fall of the Empire, basically.
Because he gave him
in so many words.
I mean, he kind of got coerced, but whatever.
Yeah, and he just becomes this clown for orphans on Naboo. And he just like tries to make everybody laugh, and nobody takes him seriously. It's kind of sad.
That's
but
really sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor Jar Jar.
Yeah. So poor Jar Jar. But yeah, I would rather. If now that we had this conversation, I would rather.
If I was a Gungan, I could probably tolerate Jar Jar better.
Yeah. Or if I was younger, you just do jokes, funny man.
Yeah.
Make me laugh.
As a full-blown adult, I think I might pick 3PO.
Yeah. So there's another one we thought it was. Would you rather have Darth Vader or Grand Moff Tarkin as your father-in-law?
Yeah.
Both of them, I feel like, I don't know what you would think. I feel like
the obvious choice is to not pick Vader because he's got the Force.
Yeah.
And he could just, But Tarkin is rough.
Yeah. I feel like he would be the father-in-law that you would always try to seek his approval, and you would never get it.
Never. Yeah. You would never smile. You would never. Well, I mean, Darth Vader wouldn't either. Yeah. I mean, but Darth Vader's got good in him. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Play the long con with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a hug one day, but I don't think you're ever getting that with Tarkin. No, ever.
I'm like, from what you know from Tarkin, because the only experience you have of Tarkin is in A New Hope and Rogue One. There's a whole book of Tarkin's backstory. And
I bet it's rough.
And he goes through this. Because it's split into two stories. It's like his backstory, then this venture that he goes on with Vader, and he basically schools Vader sometimes. And it's like, no, we need to do this instead of this. And Vader's like, okay.
Yeah, the fact that he orders Vader around makes me like, oh no.
Yeah.
You might be able to warm up to Vader.
Yeah.
I don't think you can warm up to Tarkin.
And you know how dads and father-in-laws always have oh, on my day I did this.
Yeah.
With Tarkin, it's like, Okay, because his backstory is to prove that he's worthy of the name, the Tarkin name. He has to go off on this like safari run, and like on this, it's called the Carrion Spike, and like he has to like survive for like a week, or I can't remember how long. It's like a month by himself and like the place that he's in, there's like monsters that can kill him like that, and he has to like do this. He has like submit like not like his dominance over this one creature that's like this ruthless killer, and like he actually ends up like ruling over this creature and stuff like that. And it's like, and if you imagine the story, it's not like dinner, it's like, dude, in my day, it's like, oh man, I have it so rough, blah blah blah. It's like, well, in my day, kid,
Yeah.
this is what I had to do.
Man, I couldn't get the right color iPhone case. You know, it has been a rough day. Guess what happened today on the Death Star?
So, oh man, so would you rather deal with Vader or like Tarkin just like at like a family dinner? Like, oh my god, I feel like with Vader, all you would do is just not talk to him.
Yeah, I feel like Vader would just be like the strong silent type maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Tarkin would just be throwing jabs at you the whole time like, this is why you aren't good enough.
Oh, I like that. And also Tarkin plays like a Game of Thrones-esque long type of games.
Yeah.
And it's because like the whole deal with him and Orson Krennic goes way back before Rogue One.
Yeah, no.
And him taking control of the Death Star, it goes way, way back, and they're always going back and forth, and like he plays such a long game with Orson.
I just feel
And
like they're both ruthless, of course.
And and with Tarkin, I bet he would like sort of like keep like playing that game with you, and then like turn his daughter against you, or his,
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that too.
that's like
Yeah, Tarkin would have a daughter. And
Yeah.
he just, yeah, he would. But, yeah, no.
or his son. You know what I mean?
Or, yeah.
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 Can you?
I feel they're both ruthless in their own way.
But Tarkin, like,
But I feel like at least you know that Vader has good in him.
mm-hmm. And if he doesn't like you, he'll just kill you immediately.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, probably.
Tarkin would probably have you sent off to like Hoth or like a backwater
He would
planet.
have some droid come in and torture you.
Yeah, or something like that. Like he wouldn't kill you right away.
Yeah.
He'd make it slow and like.
Or he'd just like kill things that are important to you first.
Yeah, like job opportunities and.
Oh, Dantooine?
Oh, you're gonna work on the Death Star, sure, but you're gonna work sanitation.
Yeah. It feels wrong to say, but I feel like I'd rather have Darth Vader.
Vader, yeah, because you would never be good enough for Tarkin.
You'd never be good enough for a Tarkin's kid.
Yeah, no,
Never ever.
no. So what's one that you have? Like, because we rattled off a couple before we went on air.
We did. I don't remember if I said another one that was like serious.
Mm-hmm.
I said one that was like dumb, where I was like, who do you think would have worse road rage? Who would have worse road rage? I know it's not would you rather, but who would have worse road rage, Anakin or Kylo Ren?
It's Kylo Ren. Come on. It's Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
absolutely Kylo Ren.
True. There's really actually no competing there.
Yeah.
What were some other ones that you said? I should have, as we were like rattling them off to each other, I'm like,
maybe we
be
should write
writing
these down.
But we didn't. And then
Yeah.
our power went out. So
Yeah,
I didn't
that
want to
was
waste
fun.
my phone battery. Power came back on just in time for us to record this. So thanks, Florida weather.
Yeah. Trying to think of a more like, okay, so would you rather is a more serious note. Just now that I think you can talk on this. Would you rather never have a movie ever again in Star Wars, but have series, like 2 series a year, or not have TV series and have a Star Wars movie every year? Because I mean, there's people out there like Christian Harlow says, if there's never another Star Wars movie again, I'm good.
I mean, it depends. It depends on what the series, what each series would be about.
Yeah. Well, you're getting a Star Wars series. Like
Just
you're getting 2 a year.
Star Wars.
Just a Star Wars. It doesn't matter what topic. It might be an Obi-Wan. It might
2
be
a year.
2 a year, 2 series a year. And
So
no
it'd be
movies.
like Mandalorian and Obi-Wan, something like that. 2
Yeah.
series in a year.
Yeah. and no movies, or no series and a movie every single year. I have my answer. I have two answers, really. Because
well, while I know that you enjoy the feeling of seeing a movie in a theater, if given the choice between the two, you do.
yeah, see?
I feel like you get more content out of a series. Because if you think of a feature-length movie, it's what, 2 hours?
2.5 hours-ish.
Once a year. But if you have two series and they're both like 30 to 60 minutes each, and they're maybe like 10 episodes, whatever that math is.
Yeah.
I feel like you get more
storytelling.
More content from a show. But I've never watched Star Wars shows apart from The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But I've seen all the movies.
Yeah. So
I might not be a good person to ask. I did enjoy The Mandalorian because I feel like it was. I feel like it would be wrong to not say movies, but I feel like given all the movies we have right now, you got a pretty epic tale of the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
For that to be wrapped up with a bow on top, and then to just say, all right, now we're just going to coast with shows from now on.
Yeah.
Might be okay with it because at least we still have a 3-part trilogy.
Yeah. A 3, yeah.
What do you call it?
Yeah, a trilogy of trilogies.
A trilogy of trilogies.
Yeah. And
At
also
least,
the standalones. Yeah.
And the standalones. So you got that many movies. 12 movies, what is it? So you got that many movies already. So if you want to get that movie feel, just go back and watch them.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be... I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I'd go with a show.
The shows?
Yeah.
Just because of the
feels
amount
weird to say.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I should say movies.
But you rather go with the shows because it's more content.
I guess.
Yeah.
The more content, maybe get a more variety of content.
Yeah.
Especially if it's two different series.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that part of the storyteller in me, just the wanting the content, I'd say TV shows, no movies, just because of the plethora of like stories you can tell and like broader like character arcs and things like that.
But the epicness of Star Wars would make you want movies.
The Star Wars fan in me says movies every single year.
Which I get that too.
Because Star Wars is an event movie. And also the general population, just like the casual fans, have no idea what like The Mandalorian, what?
Yeah.
There's an Obi-Wan series coming out, what? They won't know about it. And the Star Wars fan in me wants to share. It's like, I want to spread my love for Star Wars. The best way I feel to do that is with movies.
That's a really good point,
because say like every single year, you plant your flag in December. December is Christmas and Star Wars.
That's true, because we always had during the new era of Disney, every time that a movie would come out, we would get together with a big old group of our friends and like reserve an entire row in a movie theater.
Yeah.
And we'd make a night of it, and we'd all go out to eat. We'd get drinks. We'd go see the movie. We'd hang out afterward. So actually, from that kind of a standpoint, I want to change my answer because it almost turned into more of a social event too, and more of a sharing event, and you might reach a broader audience if you continue to have movies.
Because if they don't have movies, then the general public is just going to forget about Star Wars, and it's like Star Wars is still a thing. Yeah. But if it's a movie every single year, then you get that hype leading up to it. You get to drop a trailer at Comic-Con or whatever during Monday Night Football, and the hype keeps building.
Yeah, because if you go out to like the typical average Joe out there and go, "Hey man, have you seen Rebels?"
Yeah, I've seen Rebels.
They'd be like, "What's that?
What?
Animated? Was it a kid's show?"
Yeah,
but no. So, but if you say, "Hey, you know, The Force Awakens or A New Hope," a lot of people will be like, "Oh yeah, Star Wars, the movie."
And from a brand standpoint, for like not just like box office, but like merchandise. Yeah, you can like you walk around with a Mandalorian shirt and people are like, "What is that?" Or like, who like you sell more toys with movies.
That's true. I think I changed my answer to movie.
Yeah. I would like the Star Wars fan in me, the 12-year-old Star Wars fan in me, or 6-year-old Star Wars fan in me says movies every year. Give me a movie every year.
Yeah, the quarantined part of me is saying content.
Content, please give me more content. The podcaster in me is like,
Yeah.
give me more stuff to talk about on my podcast. But the Star Wars fan in me is like, no, I want to share my love of Star Wars with everybody and everybody.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is with a movie every single year.
I agree.
Yeah.
I changed my answer to movies. I didn't even think of the way that you put it forward. I think part of me would say for the content and for all that kind of stuff,
just the talking points for the show. And
I would say variety, but you're gonna get variety through movies too. But from a content standpoint, my knee-jerk reaction was to say the shows. But hearing you talk about the movies in that way is like, oh yeah, I think actually my heart might lie with the movies.
Because for me, Star Wars has always been a movie franchise, and it's an event franchise. It's like, oh, the next Star Wars is coming out. Oh, get excited.
Yeah.
With TV shows, like, oh yeah, I'm fully excited about it. I can't share that love with everybody.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't go to the movie theater and watch TV shows with my friends.
Some of our friends have seen The Mandalorian. That some of them are aware of it. Others are like
Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian.
Like Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's like so. That's my answer.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I'd say it's like movies.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a movie every single year.
I agree.
Yeah.
Good job.
Any other like fun would you rather's just rattling around in your head? Because I think we're gonna wrap it up, and let's do like a couple more, and then we'll wrap it up.
I'll throw this one in. It's kind of fun, kind of also like thinker. I asked Andrew before, would you rather get piloting lessons from Poe Dameron, or wait, what was the other one that I said?
Han Solo.
Han Solo. Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, just based off
or Wedge or Biggs.
Oh God, throw Wedge Antilles in there. It's Wedge Antilles all day.
Wedge Antilles.
Wedge Antilles, because guess who taught Poe Dameron at the academy?
Oh,
Wedge Antilles.
Would you look at that? Wow. Okay.
So if you throw Wedge Antilles, it's like
game over.
It's game over. Wedge Antilles. But if it's between Poe Dameron and Han Solo. Ooh.
Your lessons are going to be more lighthearted with Poe. Han might be a little bit more verbally abusive. Wouldn't treat you nice.
It wouldn't be nice to you. It doesn't pay much.
Yeah.
I love that line so much. You offered me a job because you said it too. It's like he's being so like warm to Rey.
He's being warm, but he's also being kind of coy about like, you know, you could work with me. And the minute she shows interest, like, oh, wait a minute, before you get too excited.
I'm not gonna be nice to you.
I'm not gonna be nice to you, and I'm not gonna pay you much. So don't get too excited here, kid.
Yeah, it would definitely be like a. With Han, I feel it'd be more like a figure it out yourself type of. But let me paraphrase this or not, like with a huge like asterisk. The movie Han Solo would do that.
Yeah.
The extended canon version of Han Solo would be a pretty ballin' teacher, because in an Aftermath novels, like Leia points out, I think it's the Aftermath novels. It's one of the ones with Leia, and she says that after Return of the Jedi, Han has always been that person to try to bring somebody underneath his wing and show him the ropes, because she sort of did that with Luke. And then when Luke went off, he'd grab some like new pilots and teach him like space races, because he used to be a racer.
Yeah.
And like I can't remember the one character's name. It's not Corsella. It's this other character that is an assistant to Leia, and she was one of those pilots that Han took under his wing and taught her the ropes, and she became an amazing pilot. But then she couldn't pilot anymore because she suffered from this thing. I think it's called blood burn, where like excessive space travel would literally make your blood boil.
Oh,
I think I'm right. I gotta talk to Alex about that.
Oh,
but that's why she can't pilot anymore.
That sounds awful.
But
it lasts forever, or it goes away.
Yeah, it's a condition. Oh. It's like a disease that you suffer from, excessive amount of flying. It's detrimental to your health, and like you can basically die from it. So that Han Solo, maybe. I mean, I think Poe would be a little short with you too. because of his
he's quick, he's impulsive, he
he's
wants to get things done.
Yeah, he has a very short fuse in the Rise of Skywalker, and
Yeah.
like he's very like, what'd you do to the droid? Oh, and he's like,
That's true.
He's a difficult man, as Rey says.
Yeah.
So,
Would you want to get piloting lessons from Rey?
oh yeah, Rey's a pretty good pilot too.
She is.
God, so either Han Solo, Poe Dameron, movie Han, maybe not, but extended canon Han, probably. Just because he did Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Yeah.
And
I
he
feel
rounded
like,
it down, but
I feel like if you can get in good with Han,
Yeah.
movie Han, like Rey did,
Mm-hmm.
he might have a little bit of soft spot for you. You brought up a good point that Poe is a little bit short on Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
He is, he is quick, he is impulsive,
Mm-hmm.
he might have a bit of a short fuse, but I feel like
But did you see that one shot in The Force Awakens of him wiping out TIE fighters? That's
I'm saying,
yeah.
that's one hell of a pilot. Yeah, he's real good.
Yeah.
And I feel like Poe's lessons might, I don't know, I kind of feel
He
like
could
they'd
you
be
light-
a little bit more lighthearted.
He could teach you
but
light speed skipping.
He could. We haven't seen Han do that, right?
Nah, he sort of does it with how he gets in Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
That's a form of light speed skipping, I would assume. I feel like Han would have a lot more to teach you, though.
I feel like Han's got the age and the experience.
But I think the one reason I would go with Poe Dameron is because of that teacher lineage. Poe Dameron, Wedge Antilles. Come
Who
on,
would you rather have as your co-pilot, Chewy or L3?
Chewy. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, Chewy's so loyal.
L3 is annoying.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
like
God.
Chewy's.
I mean, she's a good navigator and everything, but she's annoying sometimes.
Chewy is a pretty good pilot as well.
And he's a good bodyguard.
Yeah.
That was another question I asked Andrew was, would you rather have your bodyguard be Chewy or K2? Because Chewy is just like, just give him a hug. He's
Yeah.
so cute and he's,
L3 would
and
want
he's
to
tough.
Yeah, not L3.
K2.
K2 would end up killing you at some point.
You think so?
Yeah, he'd be so annoyed with you that he was like, God, why am
And also the fact that he has like no filter, I feel like he might say something or hurt my feelings, and then I'd just be sad. And I feel like if I could understand Chewy, I feel like Chewy's just a good friend.
Yeah.
And he's like rough and tumble, and he would f somebody up.
Yeah. And
And,
as far as
you
the co-pilot goes, he's a really good pilot himself.
Yeah.
And like he navigates the caves of Crate really freaking well.
I would pick I'd pick Chewy.
Chewie. Yeah,
I'd
Chewie
pick
all the way.
Wookiee. I would pick Wookiee.
I would pick Wookiee, as Rio would say. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up there. That was some great conversations. We had some funny ones, and we had some pretty deep conversations.
Should put some polls on Twitters.
We should. That'd be great. What would you guys want out of all the stuff that
Or
we discussed?
would you rather?
Would you rather? Yeah, or would you rathers?
Any would you rathers that you have?
Put them in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. With that, I think we will wrap up this show. Nicki Dimalanta, where can they find you online?
They can find me on Twitter at Dimmy, DIMMMYYY.
Surprised you didn't place it over my face or something.
I'll save that for the other one. I'll save that for
Beyond.
Schmodown stuff.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch at Drew Dimalanta, DIMALANTA. If you are watching this on YouTube, please give us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification to be notified when we upload new videos like this. Again, put in the comments below your would you rathers or your answers to the ones that we discussed on this show. If you are listening to us on audio form, go to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast and rate us. It'd help us out tremendously. And if you would like to help support the channel in more than just liking and subscribing, join the Patreon, patreon.com/Andrew and Nikki to become a member of the squadron. Thank you to our squadron captains, Tamar Butta, Ferris Mathana, Bidor, and Josh Estes. Yeah, I got to get you to do these plugs sometimes. Yeah. Next show.
Next time.
But with that, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Going Rogue. May the Force be with you. Always.